Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike. This is going to be my review on Scout Comics Redshift #1. This is first printing, not that it matters to me, but it's kind of nice getting the drop on a book. This is done by H.S. Talk and drawn by Brent McKee. Colors by Sebastian Chang and letters by Joel Rodriguez. Get you a nice cover. I'd say I wanted to know about the chicken on the cover, and sadly the chicken does not show up in the first issue, but I'm hoping that sooner or later the chicken will show up. I want to say it's kind of like Hunger Games mixed with like sci-fi kind of thing, because we are met by the main character, and he goes by the name Hells. I don't know if that's his birth name, but we meet Hells and his brother, and I think his father. They are all shown here. They're growing up on a colony called Arcadia, I think, on Mars. And they specifically work at like some ice outpost that shimmies ice back and forth to Earth. They show how desolate it is, and basically that's all this outpost does is they mine for ice, and then they shuttle it back to Earth. They kind of go back and forth with some of the other colony members, but for the most part it follows Hells. His brother and his dad kind of show up in and out, but eventually they are called they have the like Royal Guard shows up, and they call like a meeting at the outpost. Everybody's unsure what the meeting is, and they're found out that it is time to pick a new member to go on the voyage. They basically pick Hells, and I think his stead right here, his whole name is Helner Drake. And basically they pick one person to go on this voyage, and I think they on different outposts it's kind of like they take one member of that outpost and they make like a team. They go into this whole backstory on like the council, and it's shown kind of over here, like, and they go into this like council on why they picked Hells, because supposedly at this time he was not a candidate for this program, like he quit out of it. But out of all the other candidates, he was the best. Supposedly they were running out of time. The voyage is basically they send out like these candidates, and they're trying to like find a new Earth. Like that's kind of the main mission, and they've sent out like previous missions, and you find out that Hell's mom was one of those people that was selected to go on the voyage, so she had to leave her husband and kids behind. It's shown by his father that he has a big deal with this decision, that he's mad with the government, and he fights them trying to take Hells. Ultimately it's Hell's decision, and the government tries to persuade him. They kind of tell him, hey, come hop on this jet and come look at this, and we'll bring you back before nightfall kind of thing. So he goes on this jet, and he sees like the ship that he would be able to get on, and it said that it can fold like space and time or something like that. He sees like the Hall of Voyagers, which they show here, and they showcast like a lot of the other members that have taken this journey. They kind of go into this thing right here where the government official is still trying to persuade Hells into taking the voyage, and Hells is still kind of hesitant. He goes into why he was selected as a candidate even though he quit, and it's kind of like you get a little more. It's like the origin story on Hells, and they go into this mission on. He says the government official says something about like, well, you were picked it because the way you acted on your mission, and then Hells makes this comment about like, man, that's effed up because I killed my friend on that mission, and the guy says, well, that's why we picked you. you made the hard choice, but it ended up being the right choice. So they go and they show you this whole, like, the flashback and the backstory on the decision, and ultimately the friend that he had to kill. And they show you that they were on a mission, and their ship crash lands or something like that, and his group is on foot. One of the members is injured, and they are running out of supplies. Their suits, they're running out of oxygen. So Hale makes the grave decision because his friend is already dying. But he kind of he does this sweet thing where he tells him he's going to see his family and he's going to be with his family, that kind of thing. And then he disconnects his oxygen and takes it away from him. But at the same time, the guy just kind of drifts off into a sleep. The whole rest of the crew at this point is kind of upset with Hells. They call him a murderer, even though Hells takes one of the canisters and kind of goes throughout all the other members and fills up their oxygen, because they have located that right where they are, that they have 4 miles to go, and with their current oxygen they weren't going to make it. So what Hells did, it granted them the ability to hopefully make it the 4 miles they need to an outpost. Hells kind of takes off on his own, which they show here, and the whole group kind of sees it as this, man, he just killed a member of our team, and took one of the canisters and took off on his own. That's not Hell's intentions. Hell, he's actually trying to make it to the outpost to guarantee that they survive, even though they gave him the oxygen and everything. He still doesn't take that chance, and they show that he expends his oxygen, and he actually makes it as far as he could on what he has, and it's just not enough. And they kind of show the scene where he passes out because he does run out of oxygen. And in this moment we get to see one panel with his mom, and she's like, boy, you silly, and she kind of lays some chemistry down, saying that there is, that the planet that he's on is 90% nitrogen soil. So he comes up with, using a little bit of the oxygen that he had in the other container, he makes a rocket with kind of a lighter type thing, and he MacGyvers himself to the outpost. It shows that he barely made it to the outpost. Right here, his helmet had already bust open, because he was hopping, with the makeshift rocket, and it shows that he barely made it to the outpost, and he quickly gets there. It also shows on the other end of the spectrum that the team, even with the extra oxygen, that they wouldn't have made it. They were already running out of oxygen because they were, kind of bickering back and forth and wasting time stopping, and they at this time they are kind of damning Hells for not only killing the teammate but running off and saving his own skin. And of course, at the last second, when they are running out of their own oxygen, it's shown that Hells is pulling up in a lunar vehicle to save everybody, and basically that is the end of the first issue. So we kind of see the tough decision and the reason why he was picked as the candidate. They kind of show the preview to the second issue. I do know that it has been pushed back. I think it is coming out either next week or the week after that, issue 2. For a first read, it was a really good read. I would like to see, the other team. It's built on this. They're trying to see as far as they can go. In the book, I kind of failed to mention it, but they do have they did locate where this possible Earth could be, but it's so far, and no one's made it that far. But it was really good read. The art was amazing. The whole kind of lore that they have set up is kind of nice. So yeah, Redshift by Scout Comics, number 1. See where this takes us. If you have read this, hit me up, or if this sounds interesting, let's hear your comments. Comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and I'll come back with you with some more reviews. Alright guys, y'all have a good one. Be good to each other. All right, bye.